Hi everybody, this slideshow is going to go over the key components of the SAT Bootcamp. The most important piece to go over is the collaborative practice piece. Now we modeled it when I came and did the training, but I wanted to make sure that I spoke to the essential pieces. First is the random groups of 3. Every day your students should be put in new random groups. You can do that by using cards, other things, but I also put a random group generator in Canvas for you, which I'll go over on the next slide. If your groups obviously aren't going to have a perfect number for 3, then do groups of 3 or 2. But again, the main thing is to put them every day. Now they're going to be working at those vertical surfaces, and they're going to have 3 roles. You're going to have one student who is the marker, and they will do the writing. You're going to have one student who is going to be your calculator, and they're going to be using the calculator if needed. And then you're going to have one person be the getter, which is the person that goes and gets the problems for the group. And those roles are going to switch as they work through the problems. But we want to make sure that every student has a job, and that's going to be, the marker, the calculator, the getter, but every student participates and every student shares their thinking. When they get done, have them check with other groups, just as we did, again, when we modeled this in our training. Check with the other groups and see if you're getting the same answers. So when they've checked with another group or they've checked with you, then they're able to move on and get a new question. And when they get a new question, they switch those roles. So you should not be having the same kid hold the marker the whole time. That marker needs to rotate through every student. So those are the key things about that collaborative practice, that they're in those random groups, that they're standing at the vertical boards, that they have their 3 roles, that they're checking in with other groups and not necessarily with you every time. And that way they can keep moving and going at their own pace. This is going to go until they finish all 10 questions or until the time is up. So when the time's up, they may not have gotten through all 10 questions, and that's perfectly okay. So I wanted to go over some of the things that are in Canvas for you. We have a resources module. In this resources module, you're going to find this slide presentation. That's the introduction video. But the most important thing are these other pieces, that random group generator. So remember, every day you're putting your students in new groups, and you need a way to do that quick and easy, and this random group generator is amazing. You'll just enter your roster one time, save it, and then when students are absent, you can just unclick them, you hit that start, and it randomly generates groups for you. Something quick and easy that you can do every day to get those random groups. Some of the other resources in here is a list of questions. So that's the Stuck During Group Practice. It's a list of teacher questions that you can ask students to ignite their thinking and help them get unstuck when they're working on a problem. You also have a resource in here about partnering and teaching model. So those are some great resources for you in that resources module. Some other things in Canvas are, you'll see Canvas has all these different modules. So I already spoke about the resources, and that's where you're going to find some of those great resources. Weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are for those teachers who are doing the math cohort only. So you have the same students all 4 weeks, and you will go through each week. Inside here is a lesson plan. That lesson plan is going to include an overview of the lesson for that day. It's going to have the slides for you to present, and it's going to have a link to the question bank where you can find answers to the questions if you'd like that. So that's what's inside each lesson. Week 1, for the math cohort only people, you're going to be focusing on Heart of Algebra. Week 2, you're going to be focusing on problem solving and data analysis. Week 3 is going to be additional topics in mathematics, so that's going to be mostly your geometry. Week 4 is your passport to advanced math. So if you are working with the math cohort only, you'll be doing those lessons each week. Your freshmen are not going to be doing like passport to advanced math because they're not in Algebra 2 yet. So they'll be repeating algebra questions. If you are doing the rotating cohorts, that is your M1 and your M2. So if you are M1, Then you are going to do those same 4 lessons every week, and you're going to repeat them with a new group of students. So M1, you only need your M1 module, and you repeat those lessons every week. If you're M2, you only need your M2 module, and you're going to repeat those lessons every week. The Math 1 group, you're doing Heart of Algebra and additional topics in math. My M2 group, you're going to be doing data analysis and Passport to Advanced Mathematics. So you're going to be covering 2 domains in your week of lessons. So again, if you are a math-only cohort, you are doing weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4, a new lesson every day. If you are in the rotating cohorts where you get new students each week, you're doing M1 or M2, and you repeat those lessons every week. Okay, I want to go over that daily routine, the 4 components of every lesson. So we've broken that 60 minutes down into 4 parts. The first one is your opening activity. On Tuesdays, that's Character Strong. You're going to be doing your community building on Tuesdays. Character Strong, feel free to repeat some of those. What I mean by repeat is if you're doing 4 corners and you have those 4 images, it doesn't take very long to get through that, so go ahead and pick 4 new images, and you can repeat that activity to fill your 5 minutes. If everything's going well and you want to go a little longer, the lessons allow for that because Tuesdays are your easy questions. So students will be able to get through those quicker. So if you want to spend a little bit more time on the front end, maybe doing 5 to 10 minutes there with Character Strong, you can. On the other days, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, you'll have your test taking tip of the day. And that's where you're going to go over some good SAT test taking tips. Then you're going to move to your thinking routines. Tuesdays and Wednesdays is as close as it gets. Thursdays is more or less. Fridays is 2 wrongs and a right. Those thinking routines, remember, are designed to get them thinking for one, but there's no need to do actual calculations. They should be doing estimation. They should be thinking about relationships. They should be using what they know and about the numbers and relationships to solve those problems. Then you're going to move into collaborative practice, where you're going to be, again, going over those random groups, vertical boards, switching roles during that collaborative practice. Make sure you save time at the end of your collaborative practice for them to reflect on what they did. There's a slide there for that whole group discussion, having them go through what was easy, what was difficult, what helped them to solve the problems so that they want to remember that for when they take their test. Then move into your individual practice with Khan Academy. Hopefully your school has a plan for if they don't bring their computers for that individual practice time. The one thing I really want to emphasize is reminder to you that the notes in the slideshow has lots of information for you. It has how to run the activities, has links to things you might need, has solutions for more or less 2 rights and a wrong. So make sure, again, that you're looking at those notes in the slideshow, and that will really help you to facilitate this SAT bootcamp. I'm going to leave you with this last thought. A wise person said to me that this boot camp, this will only be as good as you make it. So make it great.